There's also this issue that if a culture has been maligned, right, if they are marginalized like trans people, then people who are not trans people are automatically thought of as in some way negative or bigoted or like if you're a straight white male, for instance, like you're automatically a piece of shit.
That's right.
That's
what this is doing.
The woke Olympics.
And I don't think, like we said earlier, like a lot of the guys taking notes at church, they know that.
Yeah.
But everybody below that doesn't really get it. They think this is just about helping people and being fair.
That's what we would like.
Right. And this actually comes from a place. Like that's kind of what this book is about. Is that I've traced that for like it goes back to actually I don't want to mislead people and say, oh, this is Marxism. You have to whisper Marxism. But it is Marx who took the idea, and he cooked up this idea called conflict theory. He actually took it from other German philosophers and made this. You can't even say what he changed. He changed Hegel's idea of what's called, you can't even say this anymore, the master-slave dialectic, because those master and slave have traces that, even though that's what it was called, you can't talk about it. So Marx took the idea of the master-slave dialectic, which was that Hegel wrote that people who have power, and then there are people who don't have power. The person that's being oppressed by the power understands the oppression, whereas the person who's doing the oppression can't, right? Simple enough. Marx cooked this up into this idea called conflict theory that says, different groups in society, and he mostly meant rich people versus poor people, are completely separate from one another, and there's no idea that they help each other. Like that the rich building like Amazon.com and making a super successful business that makes it easier to move products and to generates more income for the site. There's no positive sum story, according to Marx. It's all conflict. And so what Marx's idea is that the oppressor class is always the enemy of the underclass. And this has actually traced down through history. It was economics then, and then this philosophical school started in Germany at first, moved to Columbia University during the World War II. It's called the Frankfurt School of Critical Theory, and they moved it into ideology and culture. And so the dominant culture, whoever has the most status and power, the elites, which at the time was genuinely like white, straight men for the most part. Those people basically brainwash the underclass into not realizing that they should rise up against. So you have this whole dynamic of conflict where the oppressor class doesn't realize what it's like to be oppressed. The oppressed class constantly can't get away from it. That's where you see this phrase now, people are being killed in the street every day, which isn't even true, but it doesn't matter because it's a matter of feeling. And then the underclass always has to be at war to try to overturn the power above them, which is called hegemony, which comes from this guy, Antonio Gramsci, who is an Italian philosopher who came up with this idea of a long march through the institutions, which I think we're now seeing for sure happening, like take over the institutions from within with this stuff. So this stuff all has we don't have to be dorks, but I can do that on my own. But this is a very long history. This isn't like it didn't just pop up in 2014 when Michael Brown got shot.